while they believed you were the same person just going through a difficult phase, you were actually shedding an old version and rebuilding into something completely different. The transformation was happening in ways they didn't have instruments to detect. You weren't just changing your circumstances. You were changing your entire operating system, rewiring your core patterns, becoming someone fundamentally different at the identity level. And then you emerged. Not with an announcement, not with a big reveal. You just showed up one day as this new version. And the moment they saw you, the moment they felt your presence, nothing aligned with what they expected. The person in front of them didn't match the profile, didn't fit the pattern, didn't behave according to the predictions. They pulled up the old files thinking there must have been some mistake, checked the documentation thinking they must have missed something, but there wasn't, because the person they had on record simply doesn't exist anymore. That version is gone, completely. And here's the beautiful part. You didn't just outgrow their expectations. You made their entire system of measurement irrelevant. The way you move now, it's different. Not just physically, energetically. The old you moved with a certain carefulness, a need to fit in, a concern about how you were perceived. This new version moves with certainty, with a quiet confidence that doesn't seek validation, with a presence that doesn't apologize for the space it takes up. The way you speak now, it's transformed. The old you measured words carefully, filtered thoughts to be acceptable, adjusted communication to please others. This version speaks truth without decoration, expresses thoughts without filtering, communicates with a directness that wasn't there before. So they're confused, deeply confused. Because in their understanding of human nature, this kind of transformation shouldn't be possible. And here's what makes it worse for them. They can't even explain the change to others. When someone asks about you, they struggle to articulate what's different. It's not one thing they can point to, it's everything. Your entire frequency has shifted. They'll say things like, something's different, or they've changed. But they can't identify what
got the guy with this copy of Dre's phone.
Because everything changes.
Head back to the office when you're ready, partner.
Your standards, your boundaries, your presence, even your silence carries weight now. The way you used to fill awkward pauses, now you let them sit. The way you used to over-explain yourself, now you simply state and move on. The way you used to seek reassurance, now you trust your own nose. They're experiencing cognitive dissonance. Their brain can't reconcile the old data with the new reality. They're trying to figure it out. What happened during that quiet period? What catalyst created this change? Was it a person you met, a book you read, an experience you had? They're looking for the external explanation, the logical cause, the identifiable trigger. Because accepting that you simply chose to become someone completely different, that you chose transformation over comfort, feels too destabilizing to their worldview. If you can change this completely, if you can become this unrecognizable, if you can transform so fundamentally that their entire assessment of you becomes outdated, then what does that say about their system? What does that say about their ability to predict human behavior? What does that say about the limitations they place on people? So what do they see now when they look at you? They see confidence where they reported insecurity. They see clarity where they documented confusion. They see boundaries where they noted people-pleasing tendencies. They see self-respect where they observed self-doubt. They see sovereignty where they cataloged dependency. For instance, the person who used to ask permission to speak now holds rooms with silence. The person who apologized for existing now occupies space without explanation. None of it matches. And what they're about to realize changes everything. It's not just surface changes. It's not like you're performing confidence or displaying strength. This is real. This is integrated. This is who you actually are now at a core level. They can feel the authenticity of it, can sense that this isn't a mask you're wearing, but a truth you've embodied. And that makes it even more confusing, because transformation like this isn't supposed to happen this completely. They're trying to update their files now.
I'm Peggy. From jungles to icebergs and ruined cities, I seek out hidden treasures in the ancient seaways. A glowing crystal on a sacred altar, gold behind a sealed door, a radiant trident held by a forgotten statue. Every clue brings me closer to my own, unlocking legends and reviving a lost empire.
Oh, ik zit hier wel thuis op. Je moet opmaken.
Play for free now.
Hey. Ja, ik moest even zelf maken.
Attempting to create a new profile that matches the current version, running new assessments, making new predictions. But here's the problem. You're not stable enough for them to document. Not because you're chaotic, because you're still evolving, still transforming. Every time they think they've figured out the new you, you've already shifted again. What's starting to dawn on them is that this isn't a phase. This isn't temporary confidence you're borrowing. This isn't a mask you'll eventually take off. This is permanent. This is who you are now. And that realization is hitting them in waves. First they thought you were faking it. Then they thought you'd crack under pressure. Then they thought time would reveal the old you underneath. But none of that happened. Pressure didn't shake you. It refined you. Time didn't expose weakness. It revealed more strength. Challenge didn't make you retreat. It made you expand. Every test they thought would bring back the old version just proves that version is gone forever. And that permanence is what they're struggling to accept. Because if you can change this completely and never go back, what does that mean about their own potential? What does that mean about the limitations they've accepted for themselves? They want to know your new patterns so they can predict your behavior. But your patterns now are too sophisticated for their models. They want to identify your new weaknesses so they can know where you're vulnerable. But the vulnerabilities they're searching for no longer define you. They want to find your new triggers so they can influence your responses. But you're operating from a center they can't access. And here's what keeps them unsettled. The version they had on record isn't hiding, isn't dormant, isn't going to resurface when things get difficult. That version is finished. Not metaphorically finished. Completely concluded. You ended it. Intentionally. Fully. and you're never going back. The person who needed their approval, gone. The person who feared their judgment, removed. The person who shrank to make them comfortable, released. The person who operated from scarcity and fear, left behind. You didn't just change some behaviors. You concluded an entire identity and formed a completely new one. And this new version, it was built from the ground up using completely different foundations, different values, different priorities, different understanding of what matters. You're not the old version refined. You're a completely different operating system, and there's no return path. This new version of you runs on completely different programming. The old you operated from external validation. This version operates from internal knowing. The old you was motivated by fear of judgment. This version is guided by alignment with truth. The old you made decisions to please others. This version makes decisions to honor self. But here's the shift that changed everything. The person on record was built by condition, by other people's expectations, by societal programming. This new version was built from the inside out, created by you, for you, based on your actual values, not inherited ones, based on your authentic desires, not conditioned ones, based on your true nature, not your adapted personality. This version is genuine in a way the old version never was. And genuine can't be faked, can't be copied, can't be analyzed using tools designed to measure performance and pretend. Their assessment methods are built for evaluating masks, roles, personas. But you're not wearing a mask anymore. You're being real. And real is unreadable to people who only know how to interact with performance. There's a profound freedom in becoming unrecognizable to the system that tried to define you, in being so different from your documented profile that their predictions no longer apply, in transforming so completely that their old understanding of you becomes useless, because when they can't categorize you, they can't manage you. When they can't predict you, they can't influence you. When they can't recognize you, they can't treat you according to their old strategies. You've become a variable they don't have formulas for, a pattern they don't have models to decode. This freedom isn't about rebellion. It's about transcendence. You're not fighting their system. You're operating outside it entirely. You're not proving them wrong. You're making their assessments irrelevant.